And so off to our left, I didn't point this out earlier, but
Yeah, I'm just looking at that. I see the marks. I can't really read them though.
yeah, so off on our left here, we've got the Sea of Galilee back at our 7 o'clock.
Oh, okay, over there. Yep.
Yep. And so off on our right, see that city that's at our like 1, 2, 3-ish o'clock?
Yep. Right down kind of below us there.
Yeah, that's Damascus.
Okay.
And out in front of us, you see this big, long valley that's stretching out in front of us?
Yep.
That's the Bekaa Valley.
Okay.
So that's part of Lebanon. The border between Syria and Lebanon is kind of runs down this tall mountain that we're about to fly over.
Okay.
Just kind of orientation to the map. And
looks like we just passed waypoint 2, so I'm going to come right a little bit to waypoint 3 to about, what is that, 370 degrees? Is that the halfway? Or no, not 370. Like
yes.
356 degrees.
Yeah,
sorry.
so 370 degrees would be 010 degrees.
Yep, it's a circle. Duh. Gotta remember that.
Yeah, it's all good.
Right. Anyways,
so,
back to our tour.
Yep. And yeah, so our target areas are going to be down here off to our right-hand side. We can go for kind of a more difficult target area, which will be a vehicle storage depot with tanks and BMPs and revetments, or we can go for like a very easy to distinguish target area like an airport with a bunch of aircraft on the ramp. Up to you.
Let's start with the more distinguished one first, just to make sure I press all the right buttons and don't mess something up, and then maybe come back through if we have some leftover bombs or something. Maybe hit the more difficult ones.
Sure, sounds good. So when you are kind of in as the pilot in your jet, if you're not giving CAS and the guys on the ground need a specific weapon, like right now, then go through kind of a logical way to expend your weapons in terms of the weight and balance for your jet. We're already off balance with this loadout. So for me, if it were me, I would probably get rid of this GBU-16 first, or the GBU-38s on our left side, and then save that Maverick for last.
Because it's lighter and smaller?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Remember that even though that Maverick is lighter and smaller, though, it's further out towards our wingtip, and so that means it's applying a higher moment of force on our jet, and so it's like it weighs more because it's further out.
Understandable.
But it is kind of the lightest thing on our jet right now, so that I would do that one last.
Looks like we're about 16 miles from waypoint 3. Perfect.
And that will give us a nice long run-in to waypoint 4. That's going to be Damascus International Airport.
Oh, I see all the targets. There they are.
Yeah, on the briefing page.
Yep, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've just been saddled up on you here the whole time, so good formation flying on my part today.
Yeah, heck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome to see. Last time I did something like this, I had an AI wingman trying to do a landing, and he crashed into me. I don't know if it was like a weird lag in the server or the game or what, but he crashed into me.
Yeah.
So.
And I'm sure your experience right now is like so much better now that we have that off of that external drive.
It's so smooth and crisp and everything. Like, it's so much better.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear that.
All
right. Do you have your countermeasures turned on? Your raw gear?
I was just looking at that. That's the one thing I'm kind of a little iffy on how to set up. Because every once in a while I'll set it up and I'll press the button and like all of them will expense.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I have the wrong button mapped or what. Or
for your dispensers, I would just put them into bypass mode, and that way it will automatically dispense 2 flares per press of the flare button and 1 chaff per press of the chaff button. Okay. And then in our next lesson we can go more in depth on how to set up your own programs and how to set them up and why to set them up.
Okay. Looks like we just flew over waypoint 3, so I'm going to come right here to waypoint 4.
Yeah, we'll bypass waypoint 4, go direct to waypoint 5.
Waypoint 5, alright. Push it up to waypoint 5 here.
Yep.
Make a nice, easy, gradual turn.
I appreciate that, as your wingman.
Since we got the space. bump up. I forgot my bingo. I'm gonna bump that up to 6,000.
Perfect. Basically, just want
Is
to.
half usually good? I usually go for half of what I have.
So there's two fuel states. There's Joker fuel state and Bingo fuel state.
Okay.
Joker would be kind of more like your half, and that would be like, okay, that this is the amount of fuel that we agree we're going to start heading home with, and Bingo is the amount of fuel that it's like, okay, if I reach Bingo, I have to go home right now, or I'm going to run out of gas.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. So I kind of usually put it to more of a Joker state, so like halfway, and then once I reach Joker, then I bring it down to Bingo, which is another half from there.
Gotcha.
Depending on, of course, how far we're flying away and stuff like that. For our flight here, we can get back with maybe 2,000 pounds of gas, no problem, if we're conservative.
Cool. Alright, looks like we're going to be leveling out here at 132.
Roger.
Bringing the wing down, leveling out.
Nice job. I really like that smoothness. That's what I like to see. Alright. Time to designate waypoint 5 and bring our targeting pod down onto it.
So now, do you put the targeting pod over the air-to-air radar, or do you put it over the EW?
So targeting pod is usually going to be by default on the left-hand side in the F-18.
Gotcha.
I sometimes like to swap it over to the right-hand side, but it's really up to you. And then you definitely want to have your EW page up, because what if Sam pops up on us here and starts shooting at us, right?
Yep.
Also, if you really don't have enough screens to have your EW page up, you can go ahead and turn box HUD on the EW page and just put the popsicle sticks on your HUD. Sometimes that can get a little bit cluttery, and so just keep that in mind. We also
here gonna come right just a smidge.
All right.
133 roughly 132.
Yep, no problem. And then when I'm in combat, I should have said this earlier, but I like to replace my HSI on my center bottom screen with the SA page. You can still manipulate your waypoints there and designate waypoints as targets, and it just makes it a lot better in terms of, what am I trying to say? It makes it better in terms of just trying to keep track of what's going on around you. You can see your wingmen, you can see friendly jets, you can see SAM threat areas, bad guy jets, all that kind of stuff.
Let's zoom in here quick. So we got waypoint 5 as the weapon designate.
Yep, waypoint 5.
Am I missing something? Oh. Go down a little. I was okay. So, are we looking for anything specific, or?
So it's Damascus International Airport. So there's going to be runway areas, and there's going to be apron areas with different targets on the apron areas for you to engage with. And let's see here. If we can't find it, then we can of course get closer to it and go velocity vector slave and put our HUD on the runway.
Okay.
But from what I'm seeing through the pod, I think I can make stuff out. Let's see.
I picked up what looks like a cargo jet, like a C-17 or something.
Yeah, that's probably an IL-76, so that's a good target.
Okay.
So you can go ahead and engage that guy.
All right.
Go for the code 1577.
1577.
I'm having a hard time finding the target. Let's see here. I'm gonna go velocity vector slave just because I can.
So okay, quick. Can we pause this for a second, quick? So on the FLIR, so for the targeting pod, how do you change the code? I've never been able to figure that out. I can change the LST code, but not the actual laser code.
So you see the little UFC button on the targeting pod? You hit that button, and then that brings up two options on your ODU on your UFC.
Okay.
And the top button is labeled LSDT or something along those lines, and that's the laser designator. And so you select that one, enter your code 1577, enter, and then you see on the targeting pod by default it says code 1688 next to the UFC button. That should change to 1577, and once you have that, you know that the code is going to be the code emitted by the pod, and then you go over to your weapon select page on your left DDI, you select your GBU 16, you enter in your code 1577, and then you're good to go.
Okay. Yeah, I've never been able to get that code to change. I don't know if that was just another thing with the standard game that's not like something you could do, but I could never get it to change off 1688. So I'll try that here quick.
All right. And then if for whatever reason there's a mismatch between the code in your bomb or your Maverick and the code that your pod is going to be emitting, that code where it says code 1688, that will be flashing.
Gotcha.
And it will be like, hey, stupid, change the code kind of thing. It'll still let you drop the bomb, so just be aware of that, but it will try to tell you at least. Yeah.
Good to know.
All right. So here comes the unpause.
Okay. And is there a way to see what your targeting pod is looking at through the HMD?
No, there is not.
No, okay.
That should be coming, because I believe that it is a option on some jets. I wish it was implemented right now. Right now, I'm still just happy about having the RWR symbols on the HMD, because that's freaking awesome.
So, all right, one is coming left.
Roger, coming left with you.
Oh, so if I look through the HMD, it tells me the heading. Okay.
Yeah, it tells you the heading where you're looking.
025. That's the airport, right? 025.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's from where I was just looking.
Yeah, it's about 260, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I see it. Okay. Just want to make sure. So now, when you're doing a training mission like this, do you just leave it in auto throttle the whole time, 350, or do you bump it up and down, or?
Well, since we're just kind of doing some lazy training, you can leave it. But ideally, what I like to tell people is if you're in a combat area, sometimes it's unrealistic in the Hornet, but you want to be above 400 knots. Sometimes in the Hornet, you kind of just got to... Yeah, sometimes in the Hornet, you just got to kind of be okay with being at 350 or above, because, she's not super fast.
Yep.
So that's kind of my advice.
Okay.
Because we want to have plenty of get up and go in case somebody shoots a SAM at us or a MiG-21, jumps us or something like that,
All right.
All right.
One running in.
Yep, I'm running in as well.
4 seconds to release.
All right, so you're going for the close. They're going for the close ramp. I'm going for the far ramp.
Okay. Some wind in here. This is different. I usually don't fly with wind, so this is definitely something new.
I can't stand the way the water looks in DCS without wind, so I've always had wind.
I love it. It's a challenge. I like it.
Yeah.
So.
You also have the asymmetrical loadout of your jet working against you.
Yep.
So there is that as well. If you put on barometric altitude hold, that can help keep you kind of centered up.
All right, fall line coming down. And
there goes your
one
weapon.
away. Coming off to the right here. Automatic laser is on, 15 seconds to laser.
Yeah, my weapon didn't drop because I messed up.
And laser is on, 10 seconds to impact. 3, 2, 1, and
Looks like the weapon didn't hit. A weapon missed. I think it may have been because your code may have not been correct for the weapon.
It wasn't flashing. It was the 157.
Huh.
7. So okay. Does the LST code have to be the same?
Nope, it does not. Just
Weird.
the LSD DC.
Yeah, 1577 is what I had. I must have.
That's a little weird. So what it'll be telling. So go ahead and drop your GVU 38s.
Okay.
And what it'll be telling is if we can get your AGM 65E to lock up, then that should let us know what the issue is.
Alright.
So I'm going to come around for a reattack.
And we put those in target opportunity. Instant.
Springfield 1-1, Overlord
Display.
1-1, Bra 054, 4210 at 38,000, flanking.
Mission. Alright.
Yeah, and so with the pod, it's usually easiest to just have it in TOO mode. And of course, the weapon's got to spin up for you.
Okay. One's coming left here.
There we go. Now it's weapon away.
We're gonna go after that same target.
Alright. So my weapon is tracking.
Okay.
So I'm not sure what went wrong with your drop. And shack.
Okay.
Alright, I'll move on to my GPU 38s.
Bring out the MAV, let that spin up.
Alright, mine is good to go. So AGM 65 Echoes are good to go whenever you turn them on and select them. There's no wait period with them, which is pretty cool.
Cool. Alright, so we're gonna get some distance, come around, find a new target, and then
And
this was the Echo, correct?
yes, sir.
Okay, so this one we don't, it's the, you lock it up and you fire and forget kind of thing, right? Just so I,
Yeah, you have to be lasing the entire time, just like with an LGB. Alright, so I've got 2 bombs away now. And so, also, make sure that as you're dropping these weapons, you're retrimming out the jet the whole time, just to make your job easier as the pilot.
I've consistently been doing that, especially after I dropped those last 2.
Okay, good. Just making sure.
I appreciate
Alright,
it.
I've got both IL-76s in view of my pod, so this should be pretty cool.
Nice. So that says 1577. That says 1577. Laser is armed. Trigger is selected.
Yep. And there's 1 shack and 2 shacks. Perfect.
Nice.
Man, those were accurate today. Usually they're not that accurate for me. So yeah, so if you're in your dive and you see that your laser is not being tracked by your Maverick on the Maverick's page, just go around and we'll work some magic on your pod and in your jet to make sure that we get it to work. Because I have no idea if you had done everything right, your weapon, your GV16 should have tracked no problem.
Yeah, I was weird when I don't know if it was like server lag or what, but when I was, rolling in and on approach, it would the time, time on target or the
Yeah.
what is it, the as the fall line came down, it would like stop, and then it would go, and then it would stop, and then it would go. It was like kind of glitchy. It was weird. So I don't know if that was like server lag, because it'd be like 10 seconds, and then it hit 6 seconds, and then there was nothing there. It was like I flew over it almost.
Huh.
So I don't know if that was something or what, but
It could have been, because it sure looked like your bomb went really long. Because if you
Okay.
were following that fall line and you were doing everything correctly, your bomb should land somewhere in the vicinity of your target. Yeah, it definitely looked like it went really long. So that's most likely what happened.
okay. One is in.
All right.
10 seconds to maximum range, and let's. Oops. Looks like something. Looks like a little truck or a little gun, can't really tell. Well, fair enough. I didn't know the auto losing was a thing until like last week, so.
Yeah. I don't know if you've noticed, but the animations for the pilot in the mirror is a lot nicer now than it was last.
I know. I saw that. I always fly with them up just because, I don't know.
Just performance-wise.
Just performance-wise, yeah. I'm not like looking in the mirror to see what's behind me, so.
Yeah, I'm not either, and you really shouldn't be. It's more for like situational awareness when you're
like
flying in formation or when you're on the ground, things like that.
It's not like we're driving a car or something on the highway. If somebody's right behind us, we got a problem.
Yeah. All right. Code is good.
Find a new target. I gotta fix my zoom too. I have it to an axis command, and it's either zoomed all the way in or zoomed all the way out, and that's just
Okay.
not working right now.
Well, I can fix that for you really quickly.
Yeah.
All right, Maverick locked, rifle, and I'm pulling away to the right-hand side so I don't mask my pod. And that is going to be a dead Syrian fitter in just a second.
I gotta find something here.
If you're having a hard time, deselect your target and then go to VVSLV on the pod. So that way you can just put your velocity vector over the top of a point where you want to look, and then hit TDC depress, and you'll be good to go.
So, point on the HUD. Stay level here. Oh, there we go.
I also think after this last big update, the destruction and the picture through the targeting pod looks a lot more detailed.
Okay, in range.
Squeeze
Wait,
squeeze the trigger.
and it's still X.
All right, so you got to uncage the weapon. So go sense.
There we go.
There it goes. Now it should.
Lock. Okay, got it.
All right. Now keep squeezing that trigger.
Come off to the right. Zoom all the way out. Come on, Mr. Maverick. There we go. Jack.
Nice shot. All right.
It looks like it missed just a smidge, but it is a kill. Because that plane ain't going to be flying.
Yeah. It's kind of like horseshoes or hand grenades. If you put a 500-pound bomb next to an airplane, it's never flying again. That's for sure. All right, so go ahead and climb back up to 20,000, and let's head towards waypoint 6.
All right, waypoint 6 coming up, coming left.
Speed check.
I'm coming up to 350 right now. I'm at 335.
Roger that.
So,
I'm coming up on your right-hand side here.
okay. Right hand side, just so I can find you. There you are. Coming left, nice and gentle. Surpassing 16,000 feet. Pull up the EW page and the radar quick.
Yep.
All right.
It's all good stuff to have up, for sure. So I don't know how you did this, but it appears... Oh, never mind.
Am I missing something?
It looked like it looked like you were missing your right-hand drop tank. And
Oh, okay.
what was really
Fast.
weird, and I think it kind of lends credence to maybe there was like a hiccup with the server, is it looked like when you dropped that GBU-16 that went long, it looked like you dropped 2 bombs to me on my screen. So I think something definitely went a little wacky there.
Went up to 20,000. Where are we at on the map? I gotta come left a little bit. So on the SA page, in the top right corner where it says 130, 10.8, so the 10, I'm assuming that's our distance to waypoint 6, and is the other number, is that our heading, like, currently, or how does that exactly work?
I believe that is the heading.
Okay. So to get there, we'd have to go, because it's off to our left here.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty close anyway, so let's bypass waypoint 6 and go direct to waypoint 7, which is our lineup point for our runway.
Point 7. Alright.
So I'd roll out about right
here. A lot
here.
more looking than I'm used to doing, you know, looking up, looking down, looking up.
Yeah.
Alright, so I'm gonna zoom in just a smidge on the page. Down to 10. Is that 10 miles? Is that what that's SCL 10 means?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so keep the descent coming on down to 2,000.
2,000. Alright. I'm gonna come left just a smidge.
So actually,
Oh, we're still a little off, aren't we?
we are a little bit bit off. So never mind on that 3,000 or on that 2,000. So our field elevation is at 2,200. So we're gonna go for a radar elevation of 800.
800 feet. So switch to the radar.
Yep.
Okay.
And
radar
then
switch complete.
Start a gentle turn to the left, so that way we can be on the line.
We're coming down to 800 feet.
And then I can see the field out in front of us. Can you see it?
Yeah, there it is. Okay.
Yep. So just align yourself up on the runway, and we're gonna fly it just like a carrier brake. So come fly just offset just to the right-hand side of the runway, and then about halfway down the runway, start your brake. I'll count off to 10, and then I'll start my brake. And we want to be at about 350 knots for this.
Yep. Shut off the auto throttles.
Yep.
Alright. So just to the left of or to the right of the runway, you said?
Yes, sir. Just like if we were flying down the side of a carrier.
Oh, a little slow. I gotta speed it up a bit. Up a little bit more.
Yep, you're good. I'm saddled on your right-hand side. And when you start the brake, just call on the radio, 1's in the brake.
Is that halfway down the runway, roughly?
Yep.
Okay. And 1 is in the brake. Idles and throttle. 2.5. Gear down. Flaps down. Coming around.
2's in the brake.
Start bringing up some nose up trim. Power on. Feel like I'm a little low. A little low there.
Just don't hit the ground.
Yep. No, drop down a little bit lower than I would have liked. So I'm coming back up. What do we look for? About that 800 or 600 or?
So for your base leg, you want to be at 600 feet.
600 feet. Okay.
Yep.
So 45 degrees. 1 is in the leg. We're just going to start a steady descent. Coming around.
So we got a slight crosswind here.
Okay.
So just place your velocity vector on the portion of the runway you want to touch down on, and then apply more or less power depending on whether you're floating or you're sinking.
Sure.
And then if you need to, if you feel like you're coming down pretty hard onto the runway, just give a little squirt of power right at the end there, and that'll help arrest that descent rate and give you a nice gentle touchdown. Alright, so I'm turning base behind you.
Little fast.
Yeah, we got a lot of definitely some turbulence down here. That's okay, that's just natural turbulence coming off of the floor of the desert and off these buildings and little valleys and things. Looks good. Maybe a little hair fast, but looking really good.
Okay. And we're down.
Nice.
Throttle's an idle.
And one thing that can be a little tricky in the Hornet is the nose wheel steering automatically turns on when you get weight on wheels. So what you can do is just make sure that your feet are maybe kind of off your rudder pedals for the initial touchdown, so that way you don't have any kind of unintentional rudder input in there that could make you skid off the side of the runway on touchdown.
Sure.
That actually killed a very famous F15 pilot in the real Hornet.
Really?
Yeah. One of the guys who shot down a Libyan MiG during one of the Gulf of Sidra incidents.
One is off.
Right, 2's on very short final.
Coming in. Alright, let's see if I remember where we came from. I think it was down, yeah, it was down that way.
Yeah. Oof. Pretty good for a crosswind landing.
That was probably, for being not doing that often, it was probably one of the better ones, but with the wind, that was, every time I'd kind of let off the brakes a little bit, it'd slide to the left. So,
Yeah, definitely.
Down.